plenty of time for the aftermath.
Well, that was always my problem with Hazard County. Also, I was like, not one black person stumbled across there.
It's just the good old boys, Chi.
Not one black person. Everybody lived in a trailer, though.
I want to know what the research would show. How many white only, and I'm going to use the word casts of TV shows ran for how long?
Yeah.
Without a, and I'll use the word minority, black appearance by anybody. By anybody. You know, I mean, because they're right, but then they're going to be like, yeah, then we let Lucy and Ricardo do the thing, and so give us a pass, right? We didn't let one other black family on the show because they have their own good times, and so
we had Desi Arnaz for 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know why you think we're racist.
We're not racist. We had our black friend,
but like, and that's what I mean. Like, which shows actually depicted? I mean, like, so this is what has always been told to me in television history, and you guys tell me if you think it's true. Star Trek was one of the
first integrated shows
to bring in both a woman, a black woman, on-stage kiss with a white man. These things happened, but in Star Trek,
Captain Kirk was fucking green bitches.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Had a minority
Kirk did anybody.
Yeah, Kirk. We never gave.
Why wouldn't he do Uhura?
Yeah, I mean, Kirk was down. Okay,
yeah, Kirk was down for everybody.
Kirk was down. Okay, well, you know,
he was not. He was the least racist white person on television history, right there.
But I mean, I tell you what, it made me believe that that's where we were going. Right? Not where we were.
You should have watched the Jetsons because there are no black people in the
black people in the Jetsons either. I know. There were no black people in the Flintstones. I'm like, in all of Flintstones, in all of Bedrock, not one Mexican.
Flintstones
with all those jobs working in the quarry.
Jetsons.
You didn't have one Mexican.
The Flintstones and the Jetsons. You yet to see one minority. I'm gonna look. Mexican? I'm going back.
The past
man.
and the future.
By the way, just in the same context, now that I think about it,
popped up.
I really didn't see a whole lot of Scooby-Doo bros, except for when they did the Harlem Globetrotters one. Yeah, I know that one. See, we know when y'all let us in because we're excited about it, and then we're like, hey, that was the time that we could come to the White House. Thank you.
I mean, that was my first exposure to pot. I was watching Scooby or Shaggy.
Yeah.
How you talking to a dog?
Saying that how you got to be talking to your dog.
Hand him.
Yeah, all day.
That fool was high.
And not only that, for your dog to bring another dog, and he could talk too. You know, it's just my cousin, Scrappy Doo. Don't worry about him. I got this.
That fool was high all the time.
And everybody, you ever notice that nobody else talked to Scooby except for him? Like, you talk to Scooby, bro. Let us know what the dog says. Yeah. Oh, what'd he say?
Sure, Scooby said that.
Scooby, we're together again.
Yeah. Where's a Scooby snack, bro?
This joint.
Yeah, let's go to the van. All
right. It always took him a half hour to solve it because nobody believed it. Yeah, sure. Scooby said that, bro.
Yeah.
Get back to me in 10 minutes. I'm going to go search this out.
He said, woo.
Yeah. You sure he can talk? What the hell? I don't know either, bro. Talking. He ain't really talking. All right.
Lived in a van smoking weed all the time, talking to a dog.
As sometimes you do. Gentlemen,
as you do.
I'm going to take this opportunity to strike up the band. G, I'm going to let you go ahead and go to the back there. I'm going to grab you in just a minute as the band gets ready here. Dude, I see you are standing up on stage for a big performance, but it also kind of looks like you're setting up for some kind of like presentation. I mean, you got boards, you got graphs behind you. And I mean, why don't you do me a favor? Explain your point that you're trying to get across to, it looks 15 people have showed up to see this presentation. What do you got going on here, Duder?
This is the presentation on the history of things.
Yes, I see. Okay,
and people.
Yes, okay. History and things and people. I noticed that here the curve of history of things and people we've hit today. I've noticed in the history of things and people that a year ago over 50% of Americans believe that Trump was the cause of the January 6th. And then a year later, less than 50%, I think it's in the 40s, believe this. Would you, in your graph, explain to me why you think that is, that less people think he did it a year later and more? I see the more over here, but why is that exactly?
Well, they say time heals all wounds. Mm-hmm. And the further you get from something, the less you remember. You ever had an argument with your spouse, with your significant other, and then it lasts a couple days, maybe even a couple weeks. You can't even really remember what you just know you're mad, but you can't remember what the inciting incident was.
I feel like you're touching close to home, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And I think that's where we're at with January 6th and the coup attempt. I think
forgiveness.
People are like, well, I remember being mad about it, but there was the whole, did they count the votes right? Yeah. And do these people have the Second Amendment right to carry zip ties and assassinate Mike Pence? I don't know.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. All right, I'll come back to the presentation here in just a minute, dude, before I get you with your shout-outs and whatnot. We're going to throw you back in the, I always say the closet, but I know it's the booth, because you're well out. G, any shout-outs before we let you go? We're going to be coming back for our final show of the season before we break for summer. Any shout-outs here before we go and come back for what is going to be a pretty decent show next week?
Well, we all know I'm a member of the Black Nationalist Party.
Which is this, the one with the who, what, the what? I always, sometimes I jump too quick. I'm like, you're part of the what? And then because you use words like nationalist. Party. Okay.
So I'm gonna give a shout out to them.
Okay.
And the whole movement.
Okay.
Don't try to, we're the reason why they have gun laws now. And I think it's time to remind
people.
Yeah. That we did take over the California state legislation and the Capitol building. And then they came up with the laws to ban rifles in public, loaded firearms.
I hope it doesn't come to a show of what can happen. I pray that is.
I think it's.
I understand that we're closer than I want to be to that. But we're
really close to World War III too. Did you see what we were doing with our military exercises?
I noticed that somebody fires off a gun, we fire off a gun, they fire off a gun, we fire off a gun, and the guns keep getting bigger. Now. Yeah. So listen, we're in a bad spot. I think I opened with that. We're in an interesting tension moment, and
we are.
People need to relax, but
it's not going to happen.
Hope is always one thing. G, always a pleasure. Enjoy the booth. Sit back in there. Have a nice, relaxed time. I'm going to slide right back over here to Duder. Just so we're clear, 51% of the audience has left your presentation. So I don't know if that means you're doing a good job. One guy just showed up. There you go. Get him back. Duder, before we get out of here for the prequel, was that to the final and finale show of the season. Any special shout outs before we get out of here, brother?
I want to shout out the parents of Ohio women athletes.
If you're Ohioan and you're a woman, is that who you're at?
If you're in Ohio and you're a woman and you're in school and you're an athlete, I really hope you finish up school and or move out of Ohio before this new law takes effect, because they just put in a law targeting trans women. There's one person who identifies as a trans woman in all of Ohio that plays high school sports. One, which is significantly less than the number of mass shootings we had just this last weekend.
But we got legislators moving forward on this one.
We got legislators put a law in place that they can check and verify your gender through physical examination if someone suspects that you're not.
All right.
That you weren't born a woman.
All right, Duder. Shout out to them. I just checked the clock. We're at 2:23, which means I'm 3 minutes from picking up my kids. Shout out to Woodsboro Elementary for watching my kids for 3 minutes extra. Dude and Debo with G. We're out of here, everybody. Peace.